Hello everybody, welcome to the CJ Stroud career simulation in Madden 24. It should be an interesting one, and in my opinion, he is good and was my quarterback one just because of the way that he went through the combine and the offseason process. It was a little bit better than, in my opinion, what Bryce Young was. And I saw the accuracy, and then we saw his final game in college against Georgia and the escapability. And we obviously see all this. It's kind of criminal. They gave him 90 throw power. It's pretty good in the game, but I would expect like a 92 at minimum. And then when I saw it at 90, I was kind of surprised, but everything else is really good. His accuracies are incredible. He is a very good thrower of a football. Obviously, he has that typical size, and at 21 years old, it makes him highly developable. And that fifth year option, when it gets to that point, since he was a first round pick, one of three, I believe, maybe one of two. I can't remember how many this Texans team had, but they had a legendary draft. Tank Dell is performing greatly. Nico Collins has been fine, obviously really good, but since he got into the league, just fine and just really good this year and starting to finally break out. And then this defense is definitely one to talk about. Denzel Perryman actually just got suspended in real life, just leading with his head and stuff like that. I'm sure it won't be exactly 3 games. I'm sure it'll be a little bit higher or lower, like 2 weeks. A lot of impressive pieces all over this team is basically what I'm trying to say. I put this team where they're at in real life. Houston at 5-4. I just forced wins to get to this point, and we are in week 11 heading against the Arizona Cardinals. We'll see how it all works out. It's not an exact science, but we might make the playoffs. We are ahead of our division right now, but it's a very close race for this division. In Madden here, Jaguars and Texans are contenders for it in real life, and same with the Colts, but I just don't think the Colts can hang for the rest of the remainder of the season with Gardner Minshew. So we'll see how it actually all pans out. Obviously, it's not going to be, like I said, an exact science, but I like our chances to make the Super Bowl. The playoffs, not the Super Bowl. Nope. No playoffs for us. Unfortunate. CJ Stroud's first year. It's not a bust, but it's not a playoff run, which is cool. D'Amico Ryans just had a interview on the Pat McAfee show as I record this, and I like the dude. It's his rookie season. A lot of people are forgetting that he is the brains behind the operation and a defensive-minded coach. You pick the perfect quarterback in CJ Stroud, makes your job a lot easier. So rookie quarterback, rookie and first year head coach, very impressive standard they've set. Like they've done a great job. Rookie of the year for Rashee Rice. We'll go ahead and look at CJ Stroud's numbers on the season. Forgot to do that last time before I went to see like all the season stats for everybody. And we'll look at CJ Stroud, 3,200 yards. It's not bad, but it's also not great. Might expect a little bit more explosive numbers here the second half after he's really found his groove in the midseason in real life. So this isn't, real accurate. I would expect somewhere closer to that 4,000 mark area. But CJ Stroud, just an incredible season. And rushing on the ground, it was an okay season for both Dameon Pierce and Devin Singletary. CJ Stroud was fine with a fumble. You don't like to see that. Receiving, Bobby Trees is your leading receiver with Dalton Schultz, kind of that safety blanket. Nico Collins not playing a bigger role in Madden as he does in real life. And Tank Dell, utility, just a fun player. I loved him coming out of college. He was actually I did a little highlight grade thing going on, and Tank Dell ended up coming out my second receiver to just Jackson Smith and Jigba grade wise. So that was kind of fun. Second season incoming for CJ Stroud, coming in at an 84 overall star development player. Probably will be a little bit better in Madden 25 if they decide to call it that. Anyways, next Madden, he'll probably be better than an 84 star development player. I think we'd be around that 86 area, superstar development, or even superstar X Factor with an offensive rookie of the year. I don't know. I'm not Madden. I don't know what the ratings guys are going to say. And Will Anderson is progressing quite well and right up there with CJ Stroud, just 2 overalls above him. We'll see how this season goes for the Houston Texans. We'll stop at midseason and then the end of the season and see how the Texans do in the second year of the CJ Stroud era. We're 3-3 at the midseason. It's not exactly the place you want to be in. Probably a winning record instead of 500 right now would be a little bit better. CJ Stroud is a lot more safe with the ball, just throwing 2 interceptions in his young career so far in real life, and here it's not translating, but does have impressive yardage. It's nothing insane, and we'll see how it kind of how he finishes the season. Dameon Pierce, 4.5 per carry, is a really nice run game to rely on. Bobby Trees, 377 yards. Dalton Schultz, once again, is your second guy. And Nico Collins, Tank Dell continue to just play smaller roles. And we have a little bit of a setback in year number 2, going 6-11. Not the numbers you would like to see in the second year of what is anticipated to be a legendary career in CJ Stroud. 16 touchdowns, 16 interceptions, 3,500 yards. Not a good season at all. I'm changing playbooks for sure. Dameon Pierce, 264 carries, 1,100. Kind of went down in terms of yard per carry, but 13 touchdowns is quite impressive. Nico Collins actually ends up leading the team in receiving yards by the end of the season. Impressive numbers for him. Tank Dell only gets a little bit better. Bobby Trees with 11 touchdowns, though. Probably not ideal. CJ Stroud only up 2 overalls from last season. Not a great look. And defensively, Will Anderson only up 1. What a slowdown and a sophomore slump, if you will. Not a great second year, but this third year will anticipate and to be better. Hopefully, it all goes well. It's a fairly rated team at an 81 overall, kind of middle of the pack. Nothing at the very top, nothing too prestigious, nothing, like Bengals came in with such high expectations. Their team was really good. Lingering injuries definitely hurt that team at the beginning of the season. Looks like they're just trying to get back on pace. Texans recently actually just beat them this past week, so things were going well. But it's kind of that thing where teams are expected to do well, and once they start to do bad expectations. And luckily, the Texans don't have that. And CJ Stroud's third year, which is a pretty important year when it comes to quarterback developing. In terms of the Houston Texans, they don't even have high expectations around them. Time to let them, shock the league, if you will. Well, I think I just jinxed them pretty hard. 1-6, not a great job, and the offense doesn't look great. Yeah, that's just my bad. Shouldn't hype them up that bad or that good. CJ Stroud, 1,500 yards, 6 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Mid-season mark. It's not looking good for this team. We finished 5-12. Dug ourselves into a huge hole. CJ Stroud, 3,700 yards, 22 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Rushing, Dameon Pierce was fine. A little bit of a minimized role here. Receiving, Tank Dell went off. John Mechie went off. Xavier Hutchinson's getting a little bit of a role now as well. Dalton Schultz just continues to be, just consistently over that 500-yard mark, playing a role each and every season. But John Mechie and Tank Dell, we're going to probably need a little bit better receivers if we're going to take CJ Stroud over the top and really take that next step with the rest of this offense. CJ Stroud, an 88 overall. Offensive line around him is pretty good. Laramie Tunsil continues to play here. Kenyon Green might just have to take that jump over Titus Howard about now. Titus Howard probably around that 30-year-old mark. Juice Scruggs is fine. I guess continuing to develop. I don't know where or how long he'll be here. Shaq Mason, right guard. Dalton Schultz continues to be the tight end. Defensively, we brought in Chidobe Awuzie. Then there's this guy all the way down here. Gonna have to get him in an extended role, considering Derek Stingley Jr. and Chidobe Awuzie will be playing the major roles. This guy will come up as a 73 overall superstar development player. Grenard and Anderson continues to be those guys, I guess. And Tarrant, I don't know why he would be playing maybe an edge rusher. Yeah, he's an end. So Albert and Tarrant will be playing the interior, and it's nice to see superstars kind of just every here and there spotted throughout this. The defense here. So I think all looks fine. I wouldn't say it looks great. We'll see how it kind of goes through Madden simulation. I wouldn't expect the world. Better start to the season than we did last year. 3-4 at the midseason mark. Stats and awards might reinforce a better record, and yes, they do. CJ Stroud is killing it, almost at that 1,900-yard mark. 9 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions, a 1-to-3 interception ratio. Not a lot more realistic. I'd expect it to actually be less than that, but we're getting there. Receiving, Tank Dell is very, very good. Just racking up yards, almost 15 yards per catch is insane. Xavier Hutchinson playing a pretty big role, and then DeMarcus Rogers, also some auto-generated guy. Schultz just on pace for that steady season that he's been having, or steady seasons that he's been having. Defensively, no huge numbers really anywhere, and Anderson isn't really performing as expected, I guess, at this point. And we finished 8-9. We have 2 very good teams in our division, it seems. Colts 15-2 is very impressive, and then Jags also 12-5, more impressive. To have both those teams that outrank us, I guess, and we're 8-9, close to that 500 mark. And we'll see how CJ Stroud finishes the season. 7th in the league in passing yards with 4,200, 27 touchdowns to 6 interceptions, keeping it to a minimum while still gunslinging with a few yards there. Dameon Pierce doing a good job down in yards per carry in terms of what we've seen from him in the past. Tank Dell continues to just lead this team in receiving. Might see himself get a dev trade upgrade. Xavier Hutchinson, same thing here. Sometime soon might be prone to a breakout season, and that'd be kind of fun to watch. DeMarcus Rogers, good season. Dalton Schultz, really good season compared to what he's been having. About 100 more more yards than I'd expect. Will Anderson finished the season great. Oh my God, 20 TFLs and 10 sacks, 19 for Eddie Albert in the interior and 4.5 for him. Interception-wise, Chidobe Awuzie seems to be the right pickup, getting 4 interceptions, leading the team. Team's coming around, and maybe next season will be the year. 6, so we got some same draft class guys in here, the 2023 draft class, producing both Dorian Thompson Robinson. I've always had trouble with that. And CJ Stroud. Tank Dell up to superstar development. Dalton Schultz, same thing. Offensive line only seems to be improving. Defensively, Will Anderson up to superstar, and Chidobe Awuzie, superstar X Factor, trying to get Holly to that elevated role still. Durant will come and play back up instead of Keandre Coburn, who is another 2023 draft class alum. Grenard Anderson continue to be the edge rushers, if I could talk, and the team looks fine. And like I said, this might be the year. Same squad, a little bit more chemistry between all of them. CJ Stroud coming up on that rookie contract, and we will see how he performs. 4-2, best start to the midseason since, well, the beginning. And we'll go to stats and awards. CJ Stroud, 13, almost 1,400 yards, 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, just becoming that safe guy we always knew Aaron Rodgers as that sort of guy, where he limited the turnovers, and we're seeing that from CJ Stroud. Tank Dell, 40 receptions, 437. That's almost the exact stat line, if I remember correctly, from last time out. DeMarcus, Kevin Jackson, just some kind of mad guys, no one really taking over other than Tank Dell. No guys really stand out. Finish the season how we did last year at 8-9. Jags 8-9. Colts 10-7. And this time it's the Titans, who were bottom of the division last year, going 12-5, topping the division this year. Crazy stuff happening. CJ Stroud, another fine season, 3,700 yards, 25 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Rushing, Dameon Pierce, 4.3 on average, 16 touchdowns, kind of carried a load on the ground. Tank Dell, 96 catches, nearing that 1,300 yards. DeMarcus Rodgers next up. Kevin Jackson, Dalton Schultz, not as impactful as we've seen him. Kind of on a regress, actually, and we might see a steady pattern like this for a while until we can find some assets to put us over the top. And I think that they have this upcoming year, and then maybe the next year would be the 5th-year option, or he might even just be working off that final 5th-year option this upcoming season. I can't really keep track, but I'll check his contract here in just a minute. Maybe some future plans coming into fruition here for the Texans as they draft Byron. No, okay, never mind. CJ Stroud gets his extension done, and boy, it's a pretty one. He's getting paid generously. Actually, I think it's not steep by any means. It's actually pretty low, but it is Madden. You're not going to have exact whatever. So I guess you just draft Joey Byron here, who I just took a look at. It isn't great, but just a solid backup, I guess. I don't know what the mindset was behind that. Maybe it was a later round pick. Offensive line, once again, looks fine. And defensively, good players just keep getting better. But other than that, you seem pretty average just in some spots. 2-5 is not the way you want to start, especially with a newly extended CJ Stroud, to the point where you're building and you're fully committed for the next 5 years on him. CJ Stroud, 1,600 yards, 10 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He's doing his job well. The rest of the team needs to do theirs. Kevin Jackson's your leading receiver. Probably shouldn't be the case. Defensively, Josh Driver, I guess, is probably playing linebacker. He's a backup safety that's working in a sub linebacker spot. Will Anderson continues to just lead this team in sacks. You need to do better as an all-around team and not just rely on CJ Stroud putting up good numbers to translate to your record. Doesn't really make sense. But go to the playoffs, aka the end of the season, see if anything happens. I do have the best playbooks in the game for the Texans team, and it just doesn't seem to be working. We finished the season with 1 less win than we did last year at 7-10. Not a great start, and Bryce Young is actually lighting it up. He's second in the league in passing yards this past season, 3,900 yards for CJ Stroud, 28 touchdowns with 7 interceptions, a little bit more interceptions than you'd like. Dameon Pierce all around is fine. Receiving Tank Dell at the end of the season does end up leading the team. Nothing's really changing. It seems to be same old, same old. Team's at the point where you're going to win and want to win now with guys regressing, getting older, like Dalton Schultz. Tank Dell is kind of peaking. CJ Stroud, new deal, getting paid his money at a 94 overall. And Dameon Pierce getting up to that 90 might start regressing soon, because running back, we all know, isn't as long-lived as you'd probably like, and your defense looks as good as it'll probably ever get. Hitchens, Driver, Carr, good secondary, and then you also have a pretty good D-line. And, these guys will have to do. Linebacking squad always could use a little bit of a facelift here. It looks like this Texans team didn't really prioritize it, but have figured it out through the years. We'll see how it goes. I think as good as chances ever right now this year to do as good as we've ever seen from this team in this little career simulation. And it's all coming apart, or not coming apart, it's all coming together now. 4-3 to start the season. Houston Texans off to a good start, or a generally better start than we've seen. 1,600 yards, 12 touchdowns, only 2 interceptions. Great quarterback play and consistently great. Dameon Pierce over 4 yards of carry. That's all we could really ask for and from him. Tank Dell 511 yards, and it's a big gap to number 2. Might need to get another receiver involved. It can't just be the Tank Dell show. In my opinion, you need that X and Y, the tight end and that wide receiver 1. But it's also nice to have a Z receiver to just help you out in general. And it's Will Anderson taking control here of this defense. Not quite leading the team. He's a half a sack off from leading the team in sacks, or at least being tied with it. So how will this team really fare the second half of the season? We'll only check. And by that, I mean we'll only be able to check. There's nothing we can really change or do. Like, if I wanted to make the team good, I would, but can't really control that. So we'll see how it fares. In simulation, we do make the playoffs for like the first time, and it's actually against a division rival in the Tennessee Titans with a very impressive 87 overall team. And we'll see how it goes as CJ Stroud goes 3,800 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 6 INTs. Rushing, Dameon Pierce 4.5 per carry, probably the highest I've seen him finish the season with. 1,300 yards from Tank Dell, and no one else, like I said, really stepped up. And defensively, 140 tackles, but 16 TFLs and 11.5 sacks for Will Anderson. He's doing really well. Chris Fowler getting involved. Matt Tarrant, that's a fun name. CJ Stroud isn't quite peaking, but at a 95 overall, he's doing really well. Dameon Pierce just putting up numbers. His overall just continues to go up. You really don't have that wide receiver 2, and you bring in a new tight end, Tyler, to play over Dalton Schultz, who's down to a 74 at this point. Without morale, this team would look a lot worse than it is. Defensively, I don't really like, it's still not abysmal, but it's like still pretty good. It's just not really anything over the top other than Will Anderson. He's like your only real defensive asset that can push this team over the top. So will they beat the Tennessee Titans in the wild card? They do. And now you have a very tough divisional opponent in the Kansas City Chiefs. So we'll see if we can get over those, and we do. We're in the AFC Conference Championship. Can we make the Super Bowl? Only one way to find out. We'll simulate through against the Jacksonville Jaguars. We are in the Super Bowl against Minnesota Vikings. That's kind of crazy to me. 1st and 10. First drive of the Super Bowl here for CJ Stroud and the Tennessee Titans. He's going to go deep. He's going to unload early, and it's going to be incomplete. 2nd and 10 now. Might expect a run. It is. Dameon Pierce gets up the field. He's gonna be up for 7 yards on his first carry of the Super Bowl. Minnesota went down and drove down and scored pretty easily. See double stacked superstar X Factor safeties back there. Might want to target the opposite side. They ended up not doing that, and it's a completion, but first down. Stroud making some adjustments at the line, snaps the ball back to pass, tries to fit it in a small window, got there. Just would consider that one a drop. CJ Stroud stepping back, unloading on a curl route, another one that finds the receiver's hands, just can't follow through with the contact there. And it's going to be 3rd and 10, an important down for the Texans on their first drive, and CJ Stroud on his first Super Bowl drive of his career. I want to go after that slot receiver. He's going to roll out, try to get on the run, and he does. Powers through. He's going to be an inch or 2 short there. 3 points up on the board for the Houston Texans, and there's another 7 for Minnesota. 17-16, not looking good. 9-17, 9-24 stretches it out. This game just gets that much harder. 16-24. 3rd and 7. Houston ball? No, whose ball is it? Vikings with less than a minute closes the game. They beat the Houston Texans. You see Trenton Simpson, I believe that's who that is there, celebrating, and we lose in the Super Bowl. Unfortunate. 95 overall CJ Stroud. You've got, once again, just a steady, average, good, or I guess averagely good offensive line, and no one's exactly stepping up in the receiving room other than Tank Dell still. Defensively, though, Will Anderson continues to just be that anchor. Drivers actually really coming along. Hitchens, Stingley Jr., Hawley, good secondary, and Tatum up to superstar dev might be something to rave about here soon, but not exactly right now. Albert's also on the fast track to being a very good player and pretty much already there. An 89 overall at superstar development. Still pretty young. We'll see how they do in 2030. Finish the season 8-9. We are out of the playoff race here, and we'll go ahead and just check the season stats and then move on to next season. CJ Stroud, 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. One of his worst seasons in the recent past. Damian Pierce, 4 per carry, 16 touchdowns. He's good, but for how much longer? Don't really know. Tank Dell continues to just lead this receiving group. Not anything fun or to rave about. I don't know. This is just getting stale. I mean, we need some sort of hype. We need something to happen, and we'll look for it, I guess, over this offseason. Tank Dell Peel is up to start development. I guess he's a fine number 2. Damian Pierce has hit regression harder than Mike Tyson in his prime hits bad people. I don't know. CJ Stroud, 97. I'm not really into boxing. If you guys couldn't tell, defensively, still look pretty good. Tatum up to superstar X Factor. Continue. Oh, well, we lost Derek Stingley. That's a pretty big loss. Okay. Well, we'll see how this team fares. It's a good team, but just once again, didn't show the results last year, and I probably wouldn't expect it this year. 8-9. Another Texans season where we finish 8-9. I'm getting sick of it. CJ Stroud not putting up impressive. Okay, never mind. Very impressive numbers. 3,800 yards, 27 touchdowns, only 1 INT. Very good, and continues to just be that steady guy and doesn't really turn the ball over. Got a lot going on. Not a whole lot in the receiving room, and I'm actually curious how Damian Pierce is still putting up 3.9. It's pretty good for an 80 overall, you know, like 30-year-old running back at this point. Like I said, we need some sort of pop. We need something to really get this this back on track. Tank Dell also regressing. CJ Stroud, 97 overall. Smart's a superstar development. Kenyon Green still here somehow. Edison Ellis Venable, interesting last name there. Tyler, no really great backup tight end either. Got some good and bad players all over this defense. Actually, there's no really bad players now that I look at it. It's a very good defense, at least very solid, and should be able to do the job, but just hasn't. I mean, they really haven't gone over the top. We've seen great and stellar seasons from CJ Stroud. It seems like the rest of the team is just falling behind. Hey guys, you want to hear something funny? We finished 8-9 again. That's just the joy, huh? Just living the dream. CJ Stroud, like, 3,600 yards, 22 touchdowns, 7 interceptions, worse than we've seen. We lost a run game. Receiving, Tank Dell's in even over 1,000 yards. Defensively, I don't know how hard we're lacking here. Not actually too bad. Defense is still putting up great numbers, at least the D line. Interception wise, we're making turnovers. TFLs, we're stopping the run. It looks like we're getting to the quarterback. Not a whole lot's going right. CJ Stroud's still progressing somehow. He's a 97 overall last year, up to a 98 this year. Tank Dell's demoted. Not really the guy anymore. Hurd, actually. I would like to see what he can do in that wide receiver 2 spot. If he's playing the slot too, he's not. I will make him play the slot. And then just got some impressive players still around, and this defense is still very good, solid, and offensively looks pretty good. I mean, better running back would be the only other thing, along with like a Z receiver, whatever you want to say, like just a receiver in general. We'll see. Mid-season comes around. I don't normally do that. Actually, I'm just gonna go straight to the playoffs. Screw midseason. Hey, we flipped the numbers. We're 9-8, not 8-9. Something to be happy about, right? Keep the smile on your face. That's all I can do at this point. The 4,279 yards. CJ Stroud was fine. Another great year. Interception to touchdown. Yeah, touchdown to interception ratio was fine. Henning, we were missing that run game, of course. Tony Pio really takes that step up though. 1,600 yards. He'll definitely be up to superstar dev. 130 tackles, and then TFLs, you can see them all, and sacks. You know, it looks good. It looks fine. You know, it looks good. The team just needs that extra push or something. Maybe one extra win will do it for us, and maybe one of these years we'll actually get that. CJ Stroud finally up the superstar development. Would you look at that? Hurd is gonna just keep developing, and Peel kind of emerged as the new Tank Dell. Defensively, though, oh my god, superstar X Factor middle linebacker for us. Albert, who's regressing at this point. Anderson, same thing, but all superstar X Factors that will slow down the regression process. Carr's actually regressing. Shepard's ready to step in. We've still got a good team and a window to win. We'll see if it's this year though. 9-8, and we tie for the division lead, but we still lose to the Jags. I don't really know what to say here. We are just stuck in a rut. We can't get out of it. 88 overall team, still not good enough to push us over the edge. CJ Stroud, 4,100 yards, 32 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Good ratio there. Run game continues to just be mediocre. Receiving, Tony Peel's the only one doing anything. And defensively, still seeing very impressive numbers from our D-line. And that's not enough to get us 10 wins in this, side. It could have gotten us the division win and a spot in the playoffs and a chance at the Super Bowl, but we're just a win short, and we'll have to go to next season. It is 2035. We'll go ahead and adjust the lineup. I have to do this every time. Not only do I want to check the team, I want to generate the best lineup, so everything. Okay, so Peel, Superstar, X Factor, Stroud, same thing. I don't know. The team still looks good. Tank Dell is still hanging around. CJ Stroud. They come up through the ranks together, and it looks like they'll stick together. And look at this. Oh my Lanta. We acquire an 80 overall. Hopefully it's because he's young. It is. And Clyde Jackson at 23 instead of like a 34-year-old regressing, you know, him and whatever. Peel is that man. Defensively, all over the place. We see good, not fantastic, but good players that are on their way to fantastic or are already there. We've got a chance. Once again, another year, another chance at the playoff, Super Bowl division, whatever you want to say. We've got the winning, you know, we got the pieces to win. Can we win? That's the big question here. And we haven't executed any season to this point other than the Minnesota Vikings Super Bowl. And I told you all we need was one more win than 9. We get to 7, or we get to 10 and 7. We make the playoffs. What a turnaround and what a prediction by me. CJ Stroud finishes second in the league in pass yards with 43, almost 4,400 yards, 35 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Very, very impressive season for him. Jarek Hennon finally finding his way to almost 4 yards a carry, which is better than we've seen from him. Tony Peel, Mitch Joseph, and Devin Hurd all over 1,000 yards. And Justin Tyler closing up and had a pretty good season for a tight end. Defensively, I'm sure I'm going to be impressed. Yep, 24. Oh my goodness. Sacks are a bit down, but TFLs aren't. 24, 21, 15, 9. Not bad at all. Can we beat the Kansas City Chiefs in the wild card? We beat them in the divisional the year we made it to the Super Bowl. Can we repeat here? You know, it'd be a bummer if we lose. Yep, okay. So the first sighting we've seen in the playoffs in a long time. It's just not going to work out. CJ Stroud is on contract for the next 2 years. Must have extended him once he was at kind of his peak. And for over $50 million a year, he's still got 2 years left on that deal. And he's up to 33 years old at this point. And yeah, I guess on to the next. CJ Stroud hitting regression down to a 94 as Peel is working up to that point with morale, of course, but not a whole lot's changed with this team. A lot of the guys are going and regressing with the Texans here. Still have some key assets. We don't have Will Anderson anymore. We might just be in the last like 2 years of our winning window. And this is, I believe, the last year of CJ Stroud's deal. We'll see if he gets a new one by the end of the season. We'll go to the playoffs, aka at the end of the season, see how we do. 11-6 back-to-back seasons, I believe, where we see the playoffs. Stats and awards, we'll see CJ Stroud and how he's done. 4,000 yards, 36 touchdowns, only 2 INTs. Very impressive season for him. He is working with morale, of course, still. And we'll see the contract. Yep, last year remaining. Hasn't got that deal done. Might hit free agency or even retire after this playoff run or season. I don't know how it's really going to end for him, but hopefully it's out on top. Can we beat the Miami Dolphins in the wild card? We do 38-0. Brutal loss for the Dolphins. Can we do the same thing to the Browns? Can we? No, we actually lose opposite. Actually, 31-0. What is wrong with Madden right now? I don't think that the chances of that happening is very, like, 2 back-to-back blowouts, just one done to the Texans and one from the Texans in the same. I don't know, that's kind of bizarre to me. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think that the chances are pretty low on that. So next season, CJ Stroud has 3 options: return to the team on a new contract, whether it's a 1-year or even a 3-year deal. At this point, he's up to 34 years of age, hit free agency, go to a new team, or retire. CJ Stroud is back with the Texans. It's interesting to see. I wasn't actually 100% expecting him back, and I'm gonna be curious what this contract's gonna look like. It is just a 1-year deal, the 15th year in the league for CJ Stroud. They do have a superstar development quarterback. Oh, he is 31 at this point. Never mind, not really a threat towards CJ Stroud's job. Defense still looks good. We'll see how they can go through this season. 2 seasons in a row making the playoffs. Can we make it 3 straight seasons in the playoffs, making the wild card every time? No first round buys or anything. Actually, Texans 10-7, Jags 12-5, Colts 13-4. We all make the playoffs. Surprised we're not playing one of them here. The chances would be pretty high. CJ Stroud finishes this season out of the top 10. Bryce Young's still killing it, by the way. Good for him, I guess. In simulation, probably won't be that way in real life, considering he's already a confirmed bust. People are so stupid. I hate when people say that. 4,200 yards from CJ Stroud, 28 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Keeping the good quarterback play around. Henning is better than ever. Tony Peel leading the team. Spencer Mason over 1,000 yards. And I think I saw another receiver in 900-yard realm. Interesting. And can we beat the Buffalo Bills, who are an 85 overall in the wild card? We can't. We lose by 10. Moving on to next season. Once again, CJ Stroud is faced with a question of, will he retire? Will he move on to another team? Will he sign another 1 or 2 year deal with the Texans? Only one way to find out, and we'll check in just a minute. And CJ Stroud is back. He is a 90 overall. He is 36 years old at this point. Throw power is only down 1 from when we started this. Everything else is significantly higher. He is still a pretty good athlete. And stats and contract, I would just assume it's another 1 year deal, and it is still worth that $40 million. That's a huge contract still for his age at 36. I guess look what Aaron Rodgers is doing. But this season might be his last, and they might want to see it that way and make the playoffs for it and go 4 straight seasons in the playoffs. And we're in the playoffs again, wild card matchup, same as we had last year with the Buffalo Bills ahead of them. CJ Stroud finishes the league and number 1 in passing yards with nearly 4,300, 28 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. That's 1 touchdown for, or I guess that's 1 interception for every 4 touchdowns, I should say. Jarek Henning over 4, or I guess at 4 yards per carry. Tony Peel carrying the receivers. I don't really care to look at defense at this point. The home tab will be where we try to get past the Buffalo Bills. I don't know why I just said home, but we do beat the Buffalo Bills. We lost by 10 to them last year, I believe, and now we win by 7. Now we have a tough divisional matchup. Well, last time we were against the Browns in the divisional, obviously we got blown out, and this time we return the favor. We don't exactly blow them out, but pretty good game for us. AFC Conference Championship against the Chiefs. Can we beat the 82 overall Chiefs at this point? They are very, no, all right, we get half their score, they double our score, and they win. On to the next. CJ Stroud posted the same question. Will he return to the Texans on a 1 year deal? Will he hit another team for a 1 year deal, or go to another team on a 1 year deal, or retire? I'm hoping for retiring at this point because I've been here for a minute, and like I said, it's getting kind of repetitive. But these last few playoff runs have made me, not really exhilarated, but it's been better. And CJ Stroud's back. Good news for the Texans, bad news for me. But hey, CJ Stroud here, ready to make an impact for his 17th straight season. And we are in the playoffs again, going 8-9. I guess it was a weak AFC this year. CJ Stroud, 3,900 yards, 26 touchdowns to 5 interceptions. Rushing, Jarek Henning's fine. Tony Peel's meh. Just a few receivers closing up on that 1,000-yard area, but no receiver better than others. Like, there wasn't that Tony Peel, like 1,600 yards, whatever it is. But in the playoffs now, we lose to Indianapolis, the only other team in our division in those playoffs. And here we are again. Same question is applied here to CJ Stroud with everything that we've already talked about. Another year, another question mark at quarterback for this Texans team. Nope, they bring back CJ Stroud, an 83 overall. Just get rid of him already. God, it's annoying sitting here just year after year, simulation after simulation, and we'll be headed to the playoffs. 7-10, and if there's any time, well, we just missed the playoffs. So if there's any time to leave, if you're CJ Stroud, it's a now. Please leave. Please go. Go. Got so excited and thought that, hey, he might leave. So I just skipped the season stats, and he's still playing great football. Almost at that 4,300 mark area, 27 touchdowns to 7 interceptions. Rushing, cool. Receiving, fine. Awesome. Okay, can we get on now and work with what we got, which is CJ Stroud, who is on the last year of his deal, might leave. Go. Looking at the year 2041, realize that I've almost simulated 20 years, year by year, checking statistic after statistic, losing my mind. I didn't come in here. I'm watching a show currently. Like, it's not even the same thing. CJ Stroud is finally gone. I'll go look around the rest of the NFL to make sure he didn't just switch teams and that he's actually gone for good and retired. Oh my God, these two just don't quit. Bryce Young is a Chief, and he's still an 87. He's going to be the greatest quarterback of all time, if not already the greatest quarterback of all time. CJ Stroud, 39, 80. Oh, why are you with the Giants, man? Hopefully they have someone better there. If they don't, I'm going to be actually kind of surprised. Like, every quarterback or every team at this point, okay, they don't. Yeah, well, this guy was better at some point, but at this stage of a simulation in Madden, every team is great at every position, no matter what, just because these auto-generated guys have such different developmental processes, I guess, than the people that they actually make, like CJ Stroud, like Bryce Young. That Bryce Young's kind of defying what it's like. But yeah, CJ Stroud working at age 39 as the starting quarterback for the New York Giants. Passing yards in a career, here is Bryce Young at 79,000, just 10,000 away from Tom Brady, maybe 2-3 more years. Gives him a chance at this record, as he is actually closing up closer to 9,000 than 10. 2 great seasons from Bryce Young might get him there. Other than that, CJ Stroud at 71,000. Bryce Young's outplayed him just a tad, but this season CJ Stroud should pass both Peyton Manning and Brett Favre, which is huge, and might just become 1, 2, 3, 4, 5th overall of all time. With wow, did Josh Allen really finish with the Colts? There's no way, right? Jalen Hurts with the Ravens. Justin Herbert with the 49ers. What happened in this simulation? So yeah, that's kind of crazy. In a season, though, I don't think that there is anything other than, wait, what? Jameis Winston in 2019? No way, right? That didn't ever happen. What is the simulation? Worth and Stroud in the quarterback room here for the Giants, and CJ Stroud might just be the guy to get it done. If he's not doing it this year, he better not try again next year. Looked like an elite defense, by the way, too. Barely got a glance at that. They are an 85 overall, so maybe not as good as I thought they were, but let's go to the playoffs, see if the New York Giants and CJ Stroud are there present in the playoffs. Giants go 6-11. I just have to beg at this point for CJ Stroud to retire. If not, I don't know what I'm going to do. CJ Stroud, 30,334 yards, 19 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. Not quite the same playbooks either, so that kind of messes with things a little bit, I'm sure. And we'll look at the stats and awards, aka, well, not the stats and awards. Dang it, not the X Factor database either. I would just prefer, okay, not quit the league. Golly, I can't get it right. What is happening? With all time in passing yards, CJ Stroud passes up Peyton Manning, and Bryce Young becomes second all time, just behind Tom Brady and just in front of Patrick Mahomes at this point in time. And we'll simulate another offseason and hope, just hope that CJ Stroud's gone. And I'll actually look, I'm invested now in the Bryce Young record thing, so I'll look for that as well. Okay, this is absurd. CJ Stroud's back for another year at a 77 overall. Same with Worth. He will be at the top of the board. I'm curious if Bryce Young is still around. No way. Oh my god, Bryce Young 1 season short of a passing record all time, like all-time passing yards leader, and he gives that up, and it'll be CJ Stroud at 40 years old, the oldest quarterback in the NFL, 78 overall, trying to break, maybe move up from 5th to 4th or 3rd. I couldn't really remember the exact numbers. And here we are off to the playoffs. See how he finishes the season. I don't think that this Giants team has the playoff aspirations, but CJ Stroud for record-breaking numbers would be quite fun. Never mind, Giants go 12-5. What a great season. And CJ Stroud also had a great season. 3,900 yards, 27 touchdowns to 4 interceptions. Comes back, puts up a great season, helps this team propel itself to the playoffs and a very high seed in the NFC. He already dominated the AFC and now is looking to get into the NFC race here, and we'll see if he can beat the Lions, and he loses. He being CJ Stroud, by the way. Loses in the wild card NFL records, and it is going to be CJ Stroud finishing still at 5th, just 2,000 yards. Do not come back to try to beat that. Nope. So we're actually going full circle. 20 years I've been here simulating a just lineup. Is CJ Stroud here? Oh my, what are you doing? CJ Stroud is still here. He's back to beat Drew Brees at 41 years old, anti-aging cream and all. CJ Stroud is, oh man, he's back, and I guess ready for the best football of his life. CJ Stroud, more brilliant football, 3,500 yards, 26 to 10 interceptions. He better be done after this year, I swear to Lord. I'm not going to swear to God. I'm just going to swear to Lord, because I'm not religious. But hey, stats and awards. We'll go to NFL records. I could really care less at this point. Just CJ Stroud. No, he's going to want to beat Patrick Mahomes and Bryce Young. And hell, can he stick around long enough to beat Tom Brady? I don't know, and I highly doubt it, and I highly hope not. Is he going to be done at just number 4 all time in passing yards? I swear, just needs to let it up. It's gonna be annoying. No, you're lying. He's not actually here right now. What is CJ Stroud doing at a 71 overall, 42 years old? He's gonna play over Keen or whatever that guy's name was. Son of a B. I can't believe it. I cannot believe my eyes. CJ Stroud is just not human. He's been playing for 20 years, 21 years to be precise, on a $1 million deal. He doesn't actually have a big resume either. He's kind of meh. He did win a MVP award. That was a while back, almost a decade ago. That's so stupid. Why is CJ Stroud still even alive? We make the playoffs. I say we. It's an ancient grandpa making the playoffs, and CJ Stroud finishes the year with 3,700 yards somehow still, despite having a noodle arm, 19 interceptions, 29 touchdowns. NFL records. Where does he stand? CJ Stroud, second all time. Do not come back for another season. I will personally delete you. That's not like a threat in real life, by the way. I'm just saying, like, just, it's a pain in the ass. So we'll advance the week. New York Giants lose. Thank the Lord. So we'll be on to next season. And I swear to God, if CJ Stroud is back, I'll actually kind of be happy because he'll have a chance to beat the record for all-time passing yards, and it would be worth the 22 years of simulation, year after year, click after click, season after season. Oh my Lanta, CJ Stroud is back and gunning for the record. 71, he's a 68 overall without morale, 71 overall. I've never seen this. 82 throw power, 76 D-back because he cannot stretch the field at all, throws under pressure really well. This is the best 68 overall quarterback I've ever seen. Just got some noodle arm, high awareness is good, leads well towards, or I guess hints at a good season. We will see. Can he surpass? So I'll have to get a certain amount of yardage here. Will he pass to get the NFL record from Tom Brady? He needs nearly, what, 3,500 yards, I'd say, close to that range. So CJ Stroud has a chance to make history at a 68 overall at 40-something years old. We'll see if he can do it. Giants finished 3-14, but that is not what we're looking at. CJ Stroud beats it 100%. 3,800 yards, almost 39, 26 touchdowns, 20 interceptions to set NFL records. He is the best quarterback of all time. Actually, this time it's not. I'm not faking it. Up to, oh my God, 500 yards beats it. Like, he beat it by 500 yards there, and in a season didn't break any crazy single season records, single game record, or records. And his career is just amazing. One for the record books, 100% best quarterback of all time, most efficient in my books. I don't know if I'd ever put him at like #1 of all time, even if this was like a true simulation. Like, if this was his actual career, I don't know if he'd be labeled as the best of all time. But man, oh my, he gave it no quit. He's playing for a very long time, so selling his soul to the NFL and putting up more yards than Tom Brady in his career. That is impressive things, and I don't even care what happens from here on out. I don't care if he chooses to play another 5 seasons. I'm not simulating it. That'll be it for me. Thank you guys for watching. That'll be it for me. Thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed, go ahead and like, go down, subscribe, go watch the past content on the channel. It's me guaranteeing you that you will enjoy it. That'll be it for me. Thank you guys for watching. Deuces.